There we go. All right. So again, happy Monday. Hope you guys had a restful weekend and you're all refreshed. I know it goes too quick, right? Friday comes, you're like, woohoo. And then Saturday, it's Friday night, and then Saturday, and then Sunday comes, you're like, it's Sunday, and then Monday, and this just went too quick. I get it. Ooh, excuse me. Sorry about that. So happy Monday. So your warm up was all words. And I did this on purpose because we've been dealing with a lot of pictures, right? And so it's kind of easier to see. Where is it? Here we go. It's kind of easier to see how things moved if you're looking at a picture, right? If I'm looking at a picture, I'm like, oh, okay. Here's Q. There's Q prime. And I can see that it went this way and that way. You can see how it moved right or left and how it moved up or down visually. And I know a lot of you are visual learners. You see it. And it makes more sense to you when you see it rather than read about it or hear about it. But I did want you to see. Now, some of you might have drawn this on a paper, and that's okay. If you're still needing to see a picture, that's fine. But let's see if we can do this without a picture. Okay, so if we look here, we says if the vertices, remember vertices just means, right, the corners of your shape, the vertex. Each one is a vertex of your shape. So the vertices just means plural, more than one vertex. So the vertices of a triangle are P, Q, R. And then they give you the coordinates of each one. This is the original image, right? This is the original image or original figure. And we call that the pre-image, remember? So if you ever hear pre-image, it just means the original. And you know, because if you look at P, there's no little apostrophe, so we know it's the original. So P, Q, R, there's the coordinates. Now those points are moved. The vertices are moved, so that means the whole figure is moved to these new coordinates. And these new coordinates, so they're moved to here, P prime, Q prime, R prime. Excuse me, mouth's a little dry. Sorry about that. I don't mean to do that into the microphone. I know it's a little annoying. And some of you are like, gross, mister. Sorry. Okay. So let's see if we can explain this without looking at a picture. So let's look at P. So P went from 0, 5. So that's first. Do you guys remember coordinate notation? So it says right here, write it in coordinate notation. Coordinate notation is just a short way of saying, how did the points move? How do they translate? So this is how we start coordinate notation, right? This part just says, hey, the original points, X, Y, and this arrow means moves. And then what's after the arrow is how it moves. How does the X move? How does the Y move? And remember, we're either subtracting or adding. Translation just means we're moving, right? We're moving left to right and then up and down. And so X, whatever we're adding or subtracting from X tells us how we're moving left or right. And whatever we're adding or subtracting from Y tells us how we're moving up and down. So let's figure this out. Let's do X first. So since that's coordinate notation, let's do the X part first. How is it moving left or right? So let's see. If I look at P, right? P, the X of P is 0, and then P prime is 5. So what happened to the X? It went from 0 to 5. So what happened to the X? What happened to the X? Anybody? It went from 0, and then now P prime is 5. So it moved. It added 5, right? So we added 5. So that's my guess. I think we're adding 5 to the X. That's what I think we're doing. What do you think? Well, let's test it. So on P, it went from 0 to 5. So let's look at Q. Let's look at Q. Q was at -4, and then Q prime is 1. So if I add 5 to -4, will I get 1? Let's see. So let's get my handy dandy calculator. And so if I have -4 and then I add 5, like we're guessing we're guessing that we're adding 5 to the X, do we get 1? Let's see. Yes, we do. So that means I did add 5 to this. So it checks out there. And let's try one more time. I like to verify, right? Some people like to verify. I like to verify, right? You know what that means. When you say it twice, that means you really mean it, right? Like if someone asks, hey, are you hungry? Yeah, are you hungry? But are you hungry? Right? So that means, yeah, okay, you're really hungry. So I need to verify. So that means I'm going to check R. I'm going to look at the X value, 7. And what's 7 plus 5? 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12. And is that what we get for R prime? Yeah, we have 12 right here. So yes, this checks out. We add 5 to the X to get our new point. Yay. No, nobody. Okay, there we go. So now let's check the Y. Why, mister? Because we need to. So if we look here, P is 5, the Y is 5, and then P prime, it goes to -2. So how is that? It goes from 5 to -2. Did it go, remember, Y goes up and down. Did it go up or down from P to P prime, from old to new? Well, it had to go down, right? Because -2 is smaller. So it went from 5 to -2. So that means I'm subtracting. How much am I subtracting? If I'm at 5 and I want to go down to -2, how much is that? Well, let's think about that. Here's a number line. Let's look at a number line. Here's 5, then there's 4, then 3, then 2, then 1, then 0, -1, -2, -3. So if we're at 5 and the point moved down to -2, how much did I subtract? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I went down 7. So we're guessing that we're subtracting 7. Okay, so on the Y, to get from here to here, subtracted 7. But that's my guess on the first one because it worked for P. Let's see if it works for Q and R. Okay, let's verify. So if I look at Q, I'm at -9, and then Q prime goes to -16. So does that mean I subtracted 7? Does that mean I took away 7 from here? What's -9 minus 7? Well, let's go back to our handy dandy notebook. And so -9 minus 7, that should give us -16. Drum roll, please. Right now, I'd have everyone do this on your desks. You can do it at home if you want to. And yes, it is. Woohoo! Yes, it is. There you go. It is. So -7 worked for that. But I want to verify. So I'm going to try R. So R is -15. If I take away 7, it should give me R prime, which is -22. So what's -15 minus 7? Drum roll, please. -15 minus 7. No, nobody. Okay. It should give me -22 if I'm verifying, and bam, there it is. Good job. So it is. So that means -7 works. So that means that's how it moved. And some of you gave me this, and some of you gave me words, which is great. If you gave me this coordinate notation and you explained it in words, some of you said the pre-image moved 5 units forward, that means to the right, and 7 units down to get to the image. And that's great. So that's a way to say it in words, right? You went 5 units to the right, 5 units forward because X is left and right, and then 7 units down because that's what the Y does. Y is up and down. All right. Any questions there? So that's just a review of what we did last week. Again, Mondays, as I've explained before, Mondays are support Mondays. Okay. So Monday means you're asking questions. You're making sure that if you had any bumps in the road last week, any lapses in concentration, or you didn't do something, or you weren't focused as you should have been, Monday is a day where you can make that up, where you can ask questions and say, okay, mister, yeah, I didn't understand this, or I was confused about this, or I just didn't pay attention, right? This is a day to catch up, to turn in late work. If you didn't do the warm-ups last week, you can still go to do them. You can still go to student. You can always go here, .desmos.com, and you can log in and you can see all the warm-ups. I opened them back up. You can see all the warm-ups from last week. So if you didn't do one of the warm-ups last week, go ahead and go in there and do them. Okay, if you I haven't got to this class yet, I will be putting in the grades of the warm-up this week. And if you turned in your homework, I will be grading that today. And if you didn't do your homework, I will accept it today, okay? I will accept it today. So that's what Monday's all about. It's all about catching up. So I have a question in the chat. It says, Mister, how do you plot the points? How do you plot the points? That's a great question. So like let's plot the point. Let's plot this triangle. 0, 5, negative 4, 9. So the original triangle. How do we plot these points? And that's a great question. So what I would do is I would draw an XY axis like that. And then I'd put, well, these numbers are kind of big. So I'd put like 1, 2, let's zoom in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Maybe go a little more. 15, 16. A little more here. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Keep going here. And so this is just a little graph. It's not graph paper, but this is how we can do this. And so I want to do 0, 5. So 0, 5, remember, the first number is your x coordinate. The second number is your y coordinate. So 0, 5 means I go 0 on the x-axis and then 5 on the y-axis. So that means I always start here. I go 0, so I don't go left or right. I stay here, and then I go up 5 units. So that would be P. Q says negative 4, negative 9. So that means I go backwards 4 on the x-axis and down 9 on the y. So that means I go backwards 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, then down 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, and then that's Q. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there you go. That's Q, which is negative 4, negative 9. Excuse me. And then R is 7, negative 15. So I don't know if I have enough. Let's see. So R is 7, negative 15. So that means I go forward 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then I go down 15. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And so it would be here. Right there. And that's R, 7, negative 15. So that's all you do. You just look at the x coordinate and then the y coordinate, and that's how you plot it. This is the x coordinate, that's the y coordinate. And you always start from the middle. Always start from the origin to plot your point. That's a good question. See? Those of you that are like afraid to ask, maybe by other people asking questions, you're like, oh, it wasn't so bad. Remember, you're dancing with that fear. And now maybe you're the lizard brain that you're dancing with says, hey, it's not so bad to ask questions. Yeah, that's the lizard voice. It might not be so bad to ask questions. Maybe you could ask a small question next time because nothing's going to happen. All right, so I'll be here. We'll be here for a few more minutes. If you have any questions, let me know. Anything about last week? If you missed a warm up last week, you can go ahead and go on Desmos, right? Go on student.desmos.com, and you can see all the activities you missed that maybe you didn't do last week. I will be putting those in the gradebook today. And if you didn't do the homework, you can turn that in today too. Okay. If you did do the homework, great job. I will be grading that today. But if you didn't do the homework, I'll put that in. And tomorrow we'll be learning something new. Remember, Monday we don't learn anything new. It's support Mondays. It's trying to get a grip and trying to catch up and get back on track in case you hit a couple bumps in the road last week. So let me know if you have any questions.